Remember when skill-based matchmaking had not killed gaming yet? Fun times, right? Whether it was Call of Duty, or Halo, or Gears of War, games provided us with a beautiful escape from a long day at school or work. Games made us smile.
I just like to smile. Smiling's my favorite.
But one day that changed.
It's like skill-based matchmaking in public games. Why the fuck would you have skill-based in a public game?
Time for the big leagues.
SBMM, I've said this before and I'll say it again, man. SBMM is I dare say killing video games as a whole.
How did skill-based matchmaking kill gaming? Call of Duty, for instance, has radically transformed from a casual shooter to a competitive sweatfest full of talking tree people. And skill-based matchmaking, or SBMM, is solely to blame. I hate it. Odds are, if you're watching this, so do you.
I always hated it!
Now, of course, there's always another side of the fence. Players who actually like skill-based matchmaking, the noob players who benefit from it. You've probably seen the comments. Get good. You need to adapt. Sounds like a skill issue. But do these creatures have a valid point? Skill-based matchmaking is a system designed to make online matches as even as possible to give each player and team a fair chance to compete. That way, little Timmy doesn't have to back out of every Call of Duty match after having his ass handed to him by CDL Pro Optic Texas wannabes. In other words, skill-based matchmaking protects lower skilled players from the higher skilled players so they could have a fair experience of enjoyment. Sounds great, right? Why would anyone be mad at this? I agree that the absolute worst of the worst players should be protected within their own skill bracket. 40-year-old dads who want to reset after a long day at work should not have to face some trash-talking, sweaty CDL wannabes.
The kid on the TV just called me a dickhead again.
Noob master.
So yeah, there are extreme cases. This may be your perspective as a casual player, a noob, or lower skilled player who plays strictly to have fun, rather than racking up the wins with your squad, and that's fine. But the problem is with these players is they truly don't understand the severity of SBMM, and they don't understand how it negatively affects them as well. Modern Warfare 3, for example, has recently received tons of backlash over skill-based matchmaking. The COD community is probably the most passionate when it comes to this problem, and discussions return every year, even with Modern Warfare 2 last year especially. It just seems like this matchmaking system gets cranked up each year, and the longtime hardcore players pick up on it. Games are sweatier than ever. It killed the fun aspect of gaming. I remember starting up a new account in Black Ops Cold War, Treyarch's last release, so I guess you could say I was smurfing, but whatever. But I ended up dropping a nuke my first game on, and if any of you remember how Cold War was initially received, you'd remember that the community tore into Treyarch for skill-based matchmaking as well. It was a sweaty experience. It resulted in a massive wave of reverse boosting or smurfing, especially among creators because it was the only way above average players could experience any sort of fun. With the alternative of getting destroyed for 5 games in a row, being put in games against CDL Pro clones, meanwhile, your teammates are still trying to figure out how to use the damn controller. Then you might get an easy lobby. Which option sounds better? And we're not all just making this up. It's not nostalgia. It's not a skill issue. There genuinely is something wrong with the matchmaking in these games. So one day I got curious. Were other games suffering from the same plague as well? I looked into Halo Infinite. Hardcore players of that community hate SBMM. Destiny 2? They hate it. Overwatch 2? They hate it as well. Even the Fortnite community is outspoken about it, for crying out loud. So I tried playing 2 of these games, aside from Call of Duty, the usual. One alternative FPS game, Blizzard's Overwatch 2, and one Battle Royale game, Fortnite. Yes, I know, but I swear I checked afterwards, and I still got my twin boys. After playing these 2 games for the first time, I got a true glimpse into what it's like being a new player in the modern matchmaking experience, the target audience of AAA live service games. My newfound experience on these games made me realize the illusion that skill-based matchmaking creates. I'll begin with my experience on Fortnite, considering I found it to be the most glaring. Keep in mind, I have never seriously played Fortnite. I downloaded it at the beginning of its hype, and all I ever did was hide in bushes and mess around with friends. And I ended up deleting it soon after because Battle Royale just wasn't my thing. Point being, I am genuinely a noob. I'm not familiar with the loot system, I don't know which weapons are strongest, and I don't even know how to build. I don't know what to do. However, given skill-based matchmaking, that didn't seem to matter at all. I dropped a win after my first game, and I immediately deleted the game, and I'll tell you why. What I realized is that on Fortnite, skill-based matchmaking creates a sort of illusion that every match is going to be easy like your first one, so it hands you the win, hoping you'll stay on the game, but I saw through their deception. I'm aware that Epic Games implements bots in Fortnite to enhance their matchmaking system, which I am certain I was playing against in my first game. I could tell the enemy players' aim was off, and they were moving like they just took some shrooms. Going back to Chapter 2, SBMM has been a problem in Fortnite, and many claim it's even worse than it is in Call of Duty, which is extremely telling as a veteran COD player. But it all made sense after playing and winning just one game, and that's all I needed to know before all the fun would have died out, before I was bound to face the Greek gods of building. Blizzard's Overwatch 2 was also an eye-opening experience. The hilarious part to me is Blizzard doesn't even try to hide how matchmaking works in their game. It literally says word for word on their casual play, match up against players of your skill level. Hey, at least they're honest that they're gonna fuck you over, I'll give you that, Blizzard. And I don't mean to brag, but I felt like I was doing too well. I could be wrong, but I don't think a new player should consistently drop 2+ KDs and be at the top of the leaderboard within their first few games. It was noticeable how easy the opponent seemed. Similar to my Fortnite bot opponents, the dudes I was facing on Overwatch struggled to hit me. As someone who never plays Overwatch, I found it all hard to believe that this is the average experience considering how competitive players are in this game. And my suspicions were confirmed after playing well for a few matches, when the game decided I was the Tom Brady of Overwatch 2 and put me in lobbies with dudes who, let's just say they knew what they were doing. I got spanked hard. My ass still hurts, actually. Again, though, this is how these companies trick casual players in order to keep them on the game as long as possible. Let's circle back to bots being in PvP gaming, because I think it plays a much bigger role in skill-based matchmaking than people even understand, and I suspect that they may have infiltrated Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. First of all, we know Epic Games is transparent about bots being in Fortnite Battle Royale, regardless of the backlash from the community. Even Battlefield 2042 openly has AI bots you can potentially face in certain game modes. And when it comes to Call of Duty, Warzone Battle Royale has been known to have bots in their matchmaking as well. But for some reason, when it comes to multiplayer, it becomes labeled as a conspiracy theory. Gee, I don't know, all these other AAA games openly implement bots into their games, and it would make sense for these companies like Activision to enhance matchmaking for the casual player to keep them on the game longer. Given this common sense logic, why wouldn't bots be in Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer? Funny part is, Call of Duty is not even hiding it. Our suspicions were literally confirmed last year before Modern Warfare 2 even released. Remember how Infinity Ward used AI as a selling point for the game? Here's Charlie Intel. AI will be a big focus in Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. AI will be in all modes of play. Does all modes of play include multiplayer? Gee, I don't know, let me do the math here. Yes! Of course it does! And let's be honest, if Fortnite is doing something, you better believe Call of Duty will try to copy it. Just look at the Battle Pass and all these skins that have absolutely nothing to do with the game. Although bots in online gaming may not be a secret anymore, it doesn't mean that it ain't misleading to the players. The object of these bots is to manipulate a player's experience to help one player, but the problem is it absolutely screws the other player. For example, let's say you're playing Modern Warfare 3 and you go negative a few games. Skill-based matchmaking will recognize that you've been getting destroyed, and its purpose is to ensure that you do not quit the game. So next game, you may face some really bad enemies, who may be bots or actual players, and you might even have some bot teammates who are really good to help you out, or they'll give you optic scump. SBMM in this case rewards you with the win, and you finish with a positive KD as well as a good score. Awesome, right? Absolutely not, because not only is the process going to repeat of you getting wrecked the next few games, but there was also one dude on the enemy team at the top of the leaderboard, but his team sucked eggs, and it was his turn to lose the match. This is more so identified as engagement optimized matchmaking, but I'll dive deeper into that in another video, so comment if you'd be interested in that. But this is the irony of the whole situation when it comes to the purpose of skill-based matchmaking: to increase player retention. Meanwhile, it achieves the complete opposite objective for many players who just see through the illusion that this system creates. Whatever happened to progression? It doesn't exist anymore. I don't care what game you play nowadays, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Overwatch 2, Fortnite, if it has skill-based matchmaking, there is no progression. There is no metric to measure your skill improvement. So not only because of the Battle Pass leveling system, but if you're only matching up against players within the same skill bracket, and if the system keeps adjusting your experience to essentially fit everyone else's needs, there is literally no way you can improve, let alone track your progression. On the old Call of Duties, I used to constantly check my KD ratio game after game to check how much I was improving. It provided players with a sense of accomplishment and motivation to play more. It gave me personally something to seriously grind for, and it was so rewarding to watch all those hours of playtime eventually pay off. Although skill-based matchmaking did exist within the old games according to the developers, it was very light. Connection was prioritized over skill. You've probably heard the term, king is king. It's so true. The reason progression was enabled back then was due to matchmaking being connection-based. Players of all different skill levels would match up against each other, which provided an honest and casual experience of the game. That's what casual players today don't understand. I shouldn't be playing dudes from across the globe just to play in the hands of skill-based matchmaking and have my ping and latency get crapped on. Connection-based matchmaking enabled growth for a player. No one plays these games and is amazing at them right away. We had to play for years to get better, just like anything in life. I remember playing Black Ops 2 for hours as a kid, every day, because I had this burning passion to get better at the game, so I could destroy lobbies and drop high streaks. So if anyone has a skill issue or needs to adapt, it's the players who defend skill-based matchmaking, because they are the ones who don't want to get better, to compete with players at their skill level or higher. Everyone who is complaining about skill-based matchmaking just wants a casual experience, which is ironic because that's exactly what the casual players claim they want as well. And that's the interesting part of this debate. Both sides want the same thing. So how do we solve skill-based matchmaking and reverse the gaming curse? Obviously, these companies need to first take their heads out of their ass and bring back connection-based matchmaking, and watch how much the backlash of these online games will die down. Call of Duty, Fortnite, Halo, Overwatch, Destiny, they all will go back to being a true experience of the game, not a manipulated casino, which is what online multiplayer gaming has truly become. And this is how skill-based matchmaking killed gaming. If you took anything of value from this or were entertained, then consider subscribing and hitting that like button. It's completely free, and I promise you'll be tuning in for more enjoyable content in the future. Also, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree that skill-based matchmaking killed gaming, or do you disagree? Comment and let me know. I'll most likely reply, so be on the lookout in your notifications. I got one more thing to say though. I am exceptional. 'Tis been one.